Here's something that will blow your mind. While most countries are running out of space for their data centers, China just decided to literally dive deeper, and they're about to change everything we know about digital infrastructure. China's revolutionary plunge, the underwater computing revolution that has 6 million PCs worth of power. What if I told you that the future of our digital world might be sitting at the bottom of the ocean? China's latest technological gambit is so audacious, it sounds like science fiction, yet it's happening right now off the shores of Hainan Island. We're talking about an underwater data center project that packs the computational punch of 6 million personal computers, all submerged beneath the waves. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this brilliant environmental stewardship, or are we about to witness the largest underwater ecological experiment in human history? This isn't just another tech announcement that'll be forgotten in a week. China's submarine computing venture represents a fundamental reimagining of how we store and process the world's ever-expanding digital information. As our planet drowns in data, literally growing at exponential rates every single day, this underwater solution tackles multiple crises at once: space limitations, energy consumption, and environmental impact. Diving deep, how China plans to transform ocean floors into computing powerhouses. Forget everything you think you know about data centers. Those massive, land-gobbling facilities that consume enormous amounts of electricity for cooling. China just said, "Hold my bubble tea," and decided to build underwater instead. Here's the scope that'll make your head spin. By 2025, China intends to deploy 100 individual underwater data center modules off the coast of Sanya in Hainan province. Each of these submarine computing beasts tips the scales at a whopping 1,300 tons, adds heavier than most commercial aircraft, and delivers processing power equivalent to 60,000 personal computers working in perfect harmony. But wait, it gets better. When all 100 units are operational, we're looking at computational muscle that matches 6 million desktop computers running simultaneously. To put that in perspective, each individual unit can process 4 million high-definition images every 30 seconds. That's the kind of processing power that makes current data centers look like pocket calculators. And this is the part most people miss. This project will liberate approximately 68,000 square meters of precious land. Imagine 13 football fields suddenly becoming available for other uses. In a world where coastal real estate is becoming increasingly valuable. That's not just smart technology, that's strategic genius. The ocean provides what no land-based facility can: free, natural cooling. Seawater naturally maintains the optimal temperature needed for these computing giants, eliminating the need for energy-hungry cooling systems that traditional data centers depend on. The result? An estimated 122 million kilowatt-hours saved annually, enough electricity to power approximately 160,000 Chinese citizens for an entire year. This collaborative effort between China's government and private enterprises showcases how public-private partnerships can tackle seemingly impossible technological challenges while advancing sustainability goals. But here's what makes this truly revolutionary. It's not just about saving energy or space. It's about proving that we can work with nature instead of against it. Navigating treacherous waters, the technical nightmares and environmental unknowns. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the whale in the ocean. Building data centers underwater isn't exactly like setting up a desktop computer in your living room. Engineers face mind-boggling challenges that would make even the most experienced professionals break out in cold sweats. These underwater computing fortresses must withstand crushing ocean pressure, relentless saltwater corrosion, and potential seismic activity that could shake the ocean floor. The designers have committed to a 25-year operational lifespan, meaning these facilities need to be virtually indestructible. China isn't pioneering this concept entirely from scratch. Microsoft launched their own underwater data center experiment back in 2016. But here's where the controversy begins. China's implementation represents the first commercial-scale deployment of this technology. They're essentially conducting the world's largest underwater tech experiment, and we're all about to find out whether it's brilliant or disastrous. The environmental questions are keeping marine biologists awake at night. Consider these potential impacts that nobody can fully predict yet. Marine ecosystems could face disruption from these massive installations, potentially altering migration patterns of sea life that have remained unchanged for millennia. The heat generated by millions of computer processors, even with natural cooling, will raise the temperature of surrounding seawater, and we still don't fully understand the long-term consequences. Electromagnetic fields generated by these computing powerhouses might interfere with marine life navigation systems. Fish, dolphins, and other sea creatures rely on electromagnetic sensitivity for survival, and we're essentially dropping massive electromagnetic generators into their homes. The installation and ongoing maintenance operations will disturb seabed integrity, potentially affecting entire underwater ecosystems. Every time technicians need to service these facilities, they'll be disrupting ocean floor environments that have developed over thousands of years. While project designers claim they've implemented safeguards to protect marine biodiversity, the reality is that we're venturing into uncharted territory. Scientists are monitoring these facilities, but we're essentially conducting a real-time experiment with our oceans, and that should make everyone a little nervous. The global race for underwater digital supremacy. What happens next? Here's what nobody's talking about. If China's underwater data center succeeds, we're looking at a complete transformation of global digital infrastructure. This isn't just about one country's technological achievement. It's about establishing a new paradigm that every other nation will scramble to replicate. The numbers driving this urgency are staggering. The International Data Corporation projects that global data creation will reach 175 zettabytes by 2025. That's a 5-fold increase from 2018 levels. To put that in context, if you stored all that data on DVDs, the stack would reach the moon 23 times over. Traditional data centers simply cannot scale to meet this demand without consuming unrealistic amounts of land and energy. Coastal nations worldwide are already eyeing their own underwater data center possibilities. Countries with access to naturally cool ocean waters could gain significant competitive advantages in the digital economy. Imagine the implications. Entire underwater networks distributed across ocean floors, creating a hidden digital infrastructure that most people never see, but everyone depends on. Let's compare what we're looking at. Traditional data centers require mechanical cooling systems that consume massive amounts of electricity, while underwater facilities harness natural seawater cooling. Land-based facilities demand significant real estate that becomes increasingly expensive and scarce, whereas underwater installations require minimal surface footprint. Energy efficiency differences are dramatic. Conventional centers burn through electricity for temperature control, while submarine facilities dramatically reduce energy requirements. Security-wise, traditional centers rely on conventional protection measures, but underwater facilities enjoy natural isolation and extremely difficult physical access. But here's the controversial question. Are we creating digital infrastructure that's more secure from human threats, but potentially more vulnerable to environmental disasters? Underwater earthquakes, tsunamis, or unexpected ocean current changes could devastate these facilities in ways we haven't fully considered. Sustainability versus risk. The ultimate gamble. The Hainan Underwater Data Center project forces us to confront a fundamental question about technological progress. How much environmental risk are we willing to accept in pursuit of sustainability and efficiency? On one hand, utilizing natural ocean cooling properties dramatically reduces the carbon footprint associated with traditional data centers. This addresses growing concerns about information technology's environmental impact while meeting our escalating computing demands. The economic benefits extend beyond energy savings. Preserved coastal real estate maintains value for other purposes while creating entirely new industries in marine engineering and underwater maintenance. The 25-year projected operational lifespan ensures long-term return on investment despite higher initial construction costs. From a pure sustainability standpoint, this approach demonstrates how technological advancement can align with environmental stewardship principles. But on the other hand, and this is where the controversy gets really heated, we're essentially gambling with ocean ecosystems that we still don't fully understand. The principles demonstrated in this project may influence other sectors from telecommunications to energy production. But what happens if we discover significant environmental consequences after it's too late to reverse course? China's underwater data center, with computing power equivalent to 6 million computers, represents far more than a technological achievement. It signals a fundamental shift in how humanity approaches digital infrastructure challenges, proving that sometimes the most innovative solutions require us to think not just outside the box, but beneath the waves. The emergence of this submarine computing revolution raises questions that go beyond technology and economics. We're witnessing the birth of a new era where our digital lives depend on infrastructure hidden beneath the ocean's surface. Whether this proves to be humanity's stroke of genius or a reckless gamble with our planet's marine ecosystems remains to be seen. What do you think? Are we witnessing brilliant innovation that will save our planet's resources? Or are we conducting a dangerous experiment with ocean ecosystems that could have irreversible consequences? The debate has just begun, and your voice matters in shaping how we approach this underwater digital revolution. About the author, Rosalia Nev.